Welcome to the Hartford Technology and Life Sciences Product Training Webinar hosted by Stuckey and Company. Thanks everybody for joining on Veterans Day. We actually didn't necessarily plan this. It was a day that we could all get together and give the training. But I do want to say thank you to any veteran that has served or is serving, and just thank you for your service, and thanks for being here. A few things before we get started. Firstly, on the GoToWebinar control panel, there's a questions area, and that's how you can ask questions. We will have a question and answers piece at the end of the webinar. But we will be respectful of your time. If we don't get to all of your questions, we will certainly get them by phone or email after the webinar. Second, we will have a follow-up email. We have a lot of great stuff. I mean, we've been specializing in the technology industry for 20 years. So we have a ton of stuff, and Hartford has a ton of stuff. Chalk talk videos, other videos about the industry, videos about claims, appetite guides, PowerPoint presentations, this video, all kinds of cool stuff, and we'll include all that stuff to you in a follow-up email after the presentation. So in 2016, Stuckey and Company will celebrate 25 years as an MGA, offering our agents access to super solid A-rated carriers like, of course, the Hartford, Safeco, Travelers, Chubb, ACE, just to name a few. And we want to bring those to you as best we can. I have the screen in front of us is a Stuckey and Company programs, a list of the programs. First is the Safety Tech program, kind of the reason why we are here. It's a technology program, and specifically technology professional liability. We have a Harbor Guard program for marinas, boat dealers, and boat repairers. The Aspire A&E program for architects and engineers. We have a MPL program for miscellaneous professional liability. It has like 360 different classes of professional. And Hartford also has quite a few classes of MPL as well. We have Servicer Pro for the appliance repair industry, Element for the green energy industry. We do a standard personal lines, so we have home, auto, boat, and high-value home. And we have commercial lines, our BOP, workers' comp, auto, bonds, EPLI, D&O, all those types of things. And if it falls outside of commercial lines, we have a surplus lines product. So if it's a new business or there's something with a little hair to it, we can place it with a non-standard market that will accept it. And we'll do some of that sharing in-house, so you don't necessarily have to. Next, I'd like to thank Tracy Hagee, Select Customer Service Rep for the Hartford, and Rob Chandler, Life Science Resource Underwriter for the Hartford, for presenting and making themselves available for questioning during and after the webinar on the availability and advantages of their product. So let's get started. With the technology and life science presentation.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Dwight, for letting us come and do this presentation, and thank you all for joining us for the call. As Dwight mentioned, we're going to walk through today the Hartford's technology and life science practice. Next slide. Thanks. The Hartford's been helping protect technology companies for over 25 years. Technology continues to be an emerging market, and we're committed to offering coverages that are specifically tailored to the needs of the technology market. It's not just a commitment for the Hartford, it's a passion. Although we've been offering coverage in technology business for the last 25 years, like I mentioned, in 2005, we decided that the technology industry needed a specialized underwriting team and claims team. We defined technology into 5 specific sectors. The first one is software and computer-related companies. This is by far our biggest sector. It includes things like computer integrated systems design, data processing, computer facility management, computer installation, federal government IT contractors, value-added resellers, and call centers. The second sector is life science and medical technology companies. This targets classes including biotechnology companies, medical device and supply manufacturing, and even pharmaceutical manufacturing for the auto and work comp. The third sector is the electronics manufacturing, and it includes things like electronic components, computer peripherals, storage devices, electronic capacitors, magnetic and optical recording devices, as well as household audio-video equipment. And then we have telecommunications sector. This includes local exchange carriers, satellite communication companies, internet services, telecommunication resellers, and equipment wholesalers. And then the last sector relates to renewable energy. So I want to remind you that if you're unsure of how you can classify a risk, you want to follow the money. Ask yourself, is the company a creator of technology, or are they just simply a user of technology? What do they do, and who do they do it for? What's the end use? Those are the primary questions our underwriter is going to ask you. We have an appetite guide that Dwight mentioned that we'll send out to you after this meeting that will help you in identifying how to classify a client. And the Chalk Talk will also help you with that. So this next slide we're going to spend a little bit of time on. Our value prop is pretty simple. The technology industry has complex risks and challenges that are unique. The Hartford has developed insurance products and services that best address these challenges. Let's talk about the property, general liability, and umbrella first. From a property perspective, our business income is actual loss sustained. For some classes, we have actual loss sustained up to a specified limit. We can offer extended business income for up to 12 months. Our computer and media coverage includes additional perils like viruses, and the coverage territory for property is worldwide. For general liability, we have 180 days of newly acquired organizations built into our policy. Why does that matter for tech firms? Because a lot of tech firms grow through mergers. We also include broad form additional insured, which includes vendors. We offer defense costs outside of the limit, and we offer data breach, not only first party, but third party as well. Also, we can write general liability by itself on a monoline basis. With regard to umbrella, if we're writing the general liability, we can offer the umbrella coverage. We extend the umbrella over the general liability, auto, and employer's liability. And we can go up to $10 million for most of our classes. We'll talk more about the professional liability for technology in just a couple of slides. If you're not writing technology business, you should be. The tech industry did not fizzle out in the 90s. It continues to expand and grow every year. Take a look at some of these numbers. There are 100,000 software and IT companies in the U.S. 99% of those are considered to be small business because they have less than 500 employees. The tech employment growth compared to private sector growth is 3 to 1. And the U.S. leads the world in production of medical technology. Those numbers alone speak to why you should be writing technology business. So E&O claims are on the rise. Tech customers need professional liability coverage, and the Hartford knows technology and life science. Listen to this. We write over 90,000 technology customers. 14% of those have tech professional coverage in place. This represents $55 million in total written premium for the tech professional. $55 million is larger than some other carriers have for their entire technology practice. Check out the top tech designated marketing areas. Even if you're not seeing your area noted on this map, on this slide, you would have technology opportunities within your area. Every town in America seems to have a computer repair technician available for them, so keep that in mind. Now let's get into the technology E&O. Professional liability is really a must-have for software and computer-related service companies. The Hartford calls our professional liability policy fail-safe. The professional liability provides for claims that general liability insurance typically doesn't cover. The professional liability responds when an insured's tech services don't perform as promised, which causes an economic loss to another party. Other potential exposures include things like intellectual property claims, allegation of invasion of privacy, and activities on their own website. The fail-safe liability policy has the flexibility to meet today's needs and evolve with your technology customer as their business changes and grows. The Hartford's fail-safe professional liability offers coverage for defense costs, coverage for settlements and judgments, and have attorneys who specialize in tech E&O, and access to law firms and vendors who are experienced in litigating technology E&O claims. The limits that we can provide for fail-safe range from $1 million to $15 million in E&O. Think about this. In the last several years, technology professional liability claims severity has increased five times. Typical claims involve programming errors, contract performance, data loss, and security breaches. What are the common causes of claims? Misunderstandings. Misunderstandings between a buyer and a seller, acceptance of unrealistic specifications, acceptance of a customer's risks, failure to clearly state performance obligations, incompatible software, delay in project completion, failure to back up, and even security errors. Ultimately, even if your client doesn't do anything wrong, they could still have an allegation made against them, leading to a lawsuit. The impact of technology E&O on a small business owner is not limited to an impact on their name only. It also has a financial impact, a loss of customers, and a loss of production time. It's important that we insure technology E&O so that we can help protect our clients from an E&O loss. When you're working as an agency, when you're working with technology firms, your reputation's on the line too. Help yourself become a technology specialist. We have a resource website at www.thehartford.com/tech to help you educate yourself on the technology industry. At this website, we have helpful videos, comparisons that will help you and your clients understand the difference between general liability and professional liability, and claims testimonials on how we can help small tech firms recover from a financial loss. Talk with your clients, uncover their needs, and help them to get the right coverage in place. If you're not writing technology now, you should be. So that concludes an overview of what we offer from a technology standpoint, and we'd like to open it up now to questions. So if you have a question, you can type it in, and between Rob, Dwight, and myself, we'll come up with an answer, and Kyle.
Right on. Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks, Dwight.
Yeah, terrific presentation, and Hartford's product it's not only the best coverage, and the people, the underwriters at the Hartford are extremely knowledgeable, and they know what you're talking about when you call them, and we know what we're talking about here. But it's also extremely easy, and there just a few questions have popped up. First is will we email the slideshow? And the answer is yes. We're going to send a link to the recording of the webinar as well as the PowerPoint presentation. But honestly, I think some of the meat and potatoes to this thing is the appetite guide, right, which it lists all the classes. And honestly, I wasn't aware that some of the life sciences were so broad. So some of those classes are extremely broad, and the videos are videos and coverage analyzers that you can share with your clients, and which is it's really cool. So here's another one: is the E&O issued as part of the package?
So we have 3 different levels of our E&O that we offer, and it's Mega, Giga, and Terra. And if you do it as a Mega, it's an endorsement to the BOP policy. If you need broader coverages that come with the Giga and Terra forms, that's issued as a separate policy.
Right. And the quote's the same way. It comes as one full quote that lists the property, GL, and professional liability,
Yes.
all under the same quote, which I think is great. Another one is it's issued with one bill. In other words, can it be direct billed, I guess?
Yes. We like all of our policies to be direct bill.
Right. And I mean, the E&O comes with the same
Yes.
bill as the package. Let's see here.
So while you're scrolling through those, I also want to touch one of the things that Dwight's going to send out is something that we call our Chalk Talk, and it's an overview of the various coverages that we offer, and this particular one is on technology. And the thing that I like most about it is it's not an insurance lingo. It's really in layman terms that you could actually send out to a client, and they would understand what the video is talking about. So they're really useful for face-to-face conversations with an insured.
Yeah, and a lot of them are light. I love, by the way, I love all the commercials that the Hartford has these days. So another one is, let's see here. So this, oh, I had it, oh goodness. Can you elaborate differences between your tech E&O coverage and other competitors, such as USLI is one. I think LI has a E&O package, or E&O and GL, I know, piece that they can include under one policy. Do we have I think we have a comparison sheet that we can share.
We do.
We may not have time to cover it, but let's include that as part of the package. The
comparison that Dwight's talking about, what it does is we highlight the various coverages that we have built into our policy form, and then it says, is it standard and a lot of other carriers, and then there's like a blank column at the far right so that you can actually do, if you get a competitor's form, you can compare it right there and make some checks off to see how it compares. But our form is very, very broad and very inclusive, and to the point of doing the general liability and professional liability all with one carrier, that eliminates some of that gray area space that can sometimes fall between the two if it's written with two different carriers.
Yeah. So does the Hartford fail-safe policy have a designated operations endorsement or exclusion? And I'm not really sure. The fail-safe policy, it lists the professional services that it will cover.
Right.
Are there any excluded classes under the policy, or is it kind of an underwriting?
I think that's an underwriting. I think that's an operation of underwriting. Rob, are you in a position where you could answer?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to make sure. I've been having issues with my phone. Anything that, the most common classes are all eligible for our fail-safe. We do offer it even for some of our manufacturing classes. It's not always the best fit for the manufacturing classes because they need probably more of a manufacturer's with some product recall. But any of our eligible classes, we will write coverage for. We don't exclude, some forms will limit what they're covering. So if you say you're a website designer and developer, that's all they're going to cover. Our form will cover any of the tech services we list in the as the Hartford defines them on under the tech services definition on the fail-safe form.
Right. Okay. And here's another one. Let's see here. Here's a question that basically revolves around a lot of a company that does multiple services, and but can we group that into one, like I guess SIC code, or is there any need there? And I think what we do is basically we look at what they do, who they do it for, where they're generating income, like you mentioned, and then the underwriter classes it correctly, right? And whether we class it in one class or another, it doesn't really affect their coverage, but it affects possibly the way that it's rated.
The rate.
Right. So coverage-wise, I think we're good.
Yeah, and Dwight, typically what we do with those, I just interrupt for a second. You know, we'll pre-qualify a lot of accounts for our agents and give them the best fit. If it's truly a pure tech risk, we typically only will use one class code unless there's, say, you know, some real differentiation between services. We try to keep it in the one class code, but you know, there may be times where you might have, you know, two entities listed on the policy. So we might have, you know, the website, you know, they might be doing website work, and then at the same time they might have another company also owned that's doing, say, computer repair. So in that case we would put both on just to, you know, make sure, you know, if there's a true break in, you know, services. But at the same time, they don't have to worry about not having everything they do listed on our class code, because of the way we define technology services. You know, it includes, you know, basically everything you can think of, you know, IT related as a service. So we're not gonna exclude coverage because we have them classed as, say, an integrator, and then they also do some web design work. You know, incidental websites. We're keeping it as an integrator, but we would cover any of those exposures as long as it meets our technology service definition.
Right. Okay. Great. Here's the one: is a worldwide coverage included?
Yes.
Rob, do you want to?
Yes. Yep. Worldwide coverage is included on our E&O policies.
Okay. And defense
actually, we say anywhere within the universe.
We'll need that soon. Because I saw the movie Martian. Okay, so is defense outside the limit?
It's inside the limit.
Okay, defense is inside the limit. On the professional, on Mega.
GL. Mm-hmm. On the GL, it's outside the limit.
Right.
But on the professional liability, it is inside. Yeah.
Can you get defense outside the limit with Terra or Giga?
Rob?
At this time, no. It's still going to be inside the limits.
Okay. Let's see here. And here's we'll just take one or two more. Let me see if I can see this. I have a small window to do these questions. Here's some questions about bio risks and life sciences, basically. And is there going to be a section on bio risks? So the same form, both the package, spectrum policy, and the E&O both apply to not only to the electronic manufacturing risks, the software-related companies, and the telecommunications companies, but also to the life science, right?
Right. There are some life science pieces, and pop in if I'm incorrect on this, Rob, but there are some of the life science classes that actually we exclude products coverage for, and the product piece would roll over to, we have an affiliation with another party who would quote on the products piece for some of the life science classes.
And some of the, here's a let's see, renewable energy classes. And I don't have a lot of that with me. I can include that, but it includes, well, Rob, do you know what classes? So I don't have to.
Well, the renewable energy sector is a little unique in that if they have a true product out to market, it's not going to be something we would handle directly in select customer technology. It would actually be something that middle market currently handles. And that's because they have a little more flexibility if there's multiple exposures associated with it. Their appetite is limited at this time. I'm not 100% sure what it is. I think there's some solar classes. I want to say some green energy classes. To be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure. If it's a company, if it's a solar energy company that's in the R&D phase, and they're still working on developing a product or they're doing it for others, then a lot of times they're still going to fit into our biotech or bioresearch class codes, which again would exclude products coverage, but we have alternate avenues to provide that coverage, whether it be our affiliation with MedMark or depending upon the size account and the nature of the product, potentially going through specialty GL if the account's of the appropriate size to go through SGL.
Okay, and here's just a couple more, and then we'll go into the contact slide. But what's the maximum limit for the package?
So for the E&O?
For the
E&O, we can go up to $15 million for a limit. For if we're looking at like property values, $20 million on a policy. If it's multiple locations, $15 million if it's not multiple locations for most of the classes.
Okay.
If you get into manufacturing, that slides down a little bit. Right, Rob?
Yes, and the one thing to keep in mind, the $15 million on the E&O is going to be for our standalone only. Mega, we max out at $5 million because Mega is more designed for our smaller classes. The one thing to keep in mind is terms of size. If it's borderline between select and middle market, we are handling some more of those in the select space if it makes sense. So when you have some of those potentially larger accounts, it's worth contacting the underwriter, speaking with them, because there may need to be some behind the scenes work done where we can't get all the information through an icon. We get the basic in and then adjust the limits behind the scenes.
Perfect.
And revenue-wise, on the office classes, what's the revenue cap for Spectrum? Is that $15 million?
For multiple occasions, yes, it's $15 million. But again, if it's slightly over definition, we are entertaining them in the select customer space, as long as the premium and the exposure makes sense.
And from a work comp payroll standpoint, I believe it's $9 million for office type exposures, right?
10, I believe, is the most recent published definition.
Okay.
But,
thanks, Rob.
But again, don't, if it's slightly higher, don't rule it out and say it's not something we can do in the select customer tech. We will look at them for you. And again, it'll take some manipulation of the automated system to get it in, but we do it all the time and then quote thing, increase the exposure on the back end outside of Icon, and then can provide revised figures, as needed.
Okay, and then one more question, I promise. Do new ventures qualify?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Tracy.
No, go.
No, we raise startups all the time. It's something that you have to entertain with tech companies. They pop up, and they can, they pop up, and the next thing you know, they're, being valued at $1 billion and being sold. Their stock's being sold. So we will entertain startups all the time, and really, their exposure is no different than an established company.
Okay, well, man, there's a ton of additional questions. I promise we'll get to them today by email, and we will also get this, get a link of the recorded webinar and all the fun things that we've been talking about. There's other questions here about product recall and things, and we actually have a facility that offers product recall that is going to be a solid one. We'll announce later this year or maybe early next, which is very fun. But here's the contacts. One of the questions I think I saw was, how to get a quote. You can send applications, Accords, or any other application that you have. Write it on a bar nap. I've gotten crazy things like that. And you can send it to quotes@stuckey.com. You can send it to Maggie@stuckey.com, or you can actually send it to me, and I will get it over to an underwriter. Here's our mailing address, of course, and our website. Website has some great material on it. The application, you can register to become an agent there, and all kinds of fun stuff. So thank you, everybody, for coming, and thank you for veterans for showing up on Veterans Day. I really appreciate all that you guys do, and thanks for your support on Stuckey & Company and for the Hartford.
Thanks, Dwight.